It was a quiet night, too quiet. A soft, rhythmic tapping echoed through the empty house, a sound that seemed to come from the walls themselves. It wasn't the wind, it wasn't the house settling. No, this was something alive, something that shouldn't be there. Emily sat alone in her bedroom, her eyes darting around the room, heart racing in her chest. The tapping grew louder, closer, like the walls were closing in around her. Her breath caught in her throat as she listened harder. Then, whispers. Soft, elusive, just on the edge of hearing. Emily! Her heart stopped. She wasn't imagining it. Someone was calling her name, clear and chilling. The whisper grew louder, the air grew colder, and the walls began to pulse. Emily, don't listen. You're already too late. A loud, deafening bang echoed from behind the wall, followed by a deep, guttural voice. He's waiting! Emily screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the deafening silence that followed. The walls shifted, twisted, swallowing her in darkness. She was falling, weightless, consumed by the blackness. And then, in the most terrifying silence, it all stopped. The house stood still, but Emily was gone. Emily had always dreamed of a peaceful life away from the chaos of the city. So when an opportunity came to move her family into an old secluded house on the outskirts of town, she didn't hesitate. The house was large, isolated, surrounded by tall, protective trees, the perfect escape. But what Emily didn't realize was that the house had a history, a dark one. On their first day, as Emily and her family unloaded boxes, she felt a strange chill in the air, an unease she couldn't explain. The house was charming, yet there was something about it, something hidden behind the cracks in the walls and creaking floors. She brushed it off. The excitement of a new home made her forget the lingering feeling. Darren, her husband, seemed content, even though he shared some concerns about their isolation. But then, their 7-year-old daughter Lily said something strange. "I think there's someone in the walls," Lily whispered, staring at the house. She didn't smile. "He's my new friend." Emily laughed, assuming it was just her daughter's vivid imagination. But as the days passed, strange things began happening. At night, Emily would lie awake, her mind racing. The house was too quiet, almost unnaturally still. But then the whispers started. They were soft at first, almost like a distant echo. She would lie there, straining to hear them, but when she did, they always stopped. She dismissed it as the house settling, the wind creaking. But then it came again, louder, clearer. "Emily?" She froze, eyes wide in the darkness. The voice was too real. She sat up, breath quickening, looking around the room. The shadows stretched unnaturally, but there was no one there. She was alone. The whispers came every night, growing louder, more frantic, like something was trying to reach her. One night, Emily went into Lily's room to check on her. She found her sitting up in bed, staring blankly at the wall. Her eyes were wide, unblinking. "Lily, what's wrong?" Emily whispered. "I'm talking to him," Lily said, her voice too calm. "The wall man." Emily's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't told Lily about the whispers. How could she know about him? Frightened, and Emily tried to push the thought away. Lily was just being a child, right? But then, Emily found an old journal in the attic. The pages were yellowed with age. The ink faded, but one sentence jumped off the page. "The house feeds on fear. Once it starts whispering, there is no escaping." The journal contained fragmented entries detailing the previous owners of the house and how it would claim them, how it grew stronger with each passing year. Emily's blood ran cold when she read the final entry. The walls have eyes. They are always watching. Do not listen to the whispers. That night, the whispers returned with a vengeance. Emily, he's waiting for you. The voice was no longer soft. It was urgent, filled with an insidious hunger. Emily tried to calm herself, but the air around her seemed to grow colder, thicker. The walls groaned, and the floor seemed to shift beneath her. Something was terribly wrong. The next day, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that the house was alive, that it was drawing her in. She found herself inexplicably drawn to the basement. It was as if some unseen force was pulling her toward it. As she descended the narrow steps into the darkness, she heard it. Faint scratching sounds like claws dragging against wood, coming from behind the walls. Her pulse quickened. She followed the noise to a hidden trapdoor in the floor. It looked ancient, untouched for years. Without thinking, Emily opened it. A cold blast of air rushed up, and her breath caught in her throat. She hesitated, but then Lily's voice called out from upstairs. "Mom, don't go down there!" Lily's voice trembled. "The wall man is angry." Emily froze. She hurried back upstairs. But when she reached Lily's room, she found her standing at the foot of the stairs, pale and terrified. "He's been telling me things," Lily whispered. "He said you'd come for me." Desperate, Emily tried to reach her, but the whispers filled the room, surrounding her, suffocating her. The air was thick, oppressive, and she could feel the walls closing in. Suddenly, there was a loud crash from the basement. Lily screamed, her voice filled with terror. Emily's legs gave out beneath her, and she collapsed, reaching for Lily. But the house wouldn't let them go. It twisted around them like a living thing, the walls pulsing with hunger. Darren appeared in the doorway, still groggy from his recovery. He had been in a car accident earlier in the week and was still healing. "What's happening, Emily?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Emily's eyes locked onto his, but before she could answer, another crash came from below. The house was shifting. It was alive. "We have to leave now!" Emily screamed, but the door wouldn't open. The walls seemed to stretch and bend, trapping them inside. In a frantic attempt to escape, Emily grabbed a crowbar from the nearby toolbox and began tearing at the walls. Then she found it. Something buried beneath the drywall. A skeleton, its face frozen in a scream. Surrounding it were strange, unnerving symbols, markings of death, fear, and loss. The moment her fingers touched the skeleton, the house trembled violently. The walls screamed, the whispers became deafening, and in one horrifying moment, the walls closed in around them. Emily screamed and everything went black. The house fell silent, as if it had swallowed her whole. The next time anyone entered that house, it was as if Emily had never been there. The walls, though cracked and broken, stood still, waiting. What would you do if you discovered the walls in your home were alive? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more chilling tales. And remember, listen carefully. The walls are always listening.